Oh,
There it is.
hello, everybody.
Hello. Oh my gosh, that took forever.
Yeah, that was like ages. Yes, hello, welcome. We're having fun tonight. Tonight, we're actually talking about souring jars, souring work. That sounds right. That's what it kind of is. But anything to do with, souring one's nature, souring jars, blah, 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 sort of to go in alignment with our previous video that we did on sweetening work, sweetening jars. So tonight, and I know, finally, hey, we're on time for once. We said 8:30.
Right?
So yes, we definitely will take your questions. If you don't have anything you want to talk about, definitely utilize the chat. We will pay attention to that. We're talking about souring work as well as anything else that you might want to discuss before we get into our actual topic. And this is just to help people, tune in and check in with us. We are going to sort of, rant and rave. Oh my. No, we're going to rant and have fun, and you can share your thoughts on this if you want as well. But actually, it's been a few weeks, really. Oli. We'll go into that CC in just a little bit. Last few weeks, we've noticed, and a lot of people, hey, Mystic Crown, a lot of people not really understanding tradition, not really understanding what it means to be of a certain tradition. I actually witnessed, and again, this is going to be a bit of me, I guess, but whatever. I've witnessed people claiming to be gypsy, and then like the next week they're claiming they're actually Catholic, and then like 2 weeks later they're actually some sort of spiritualist, and then like a week after that there's some sort of like witch, they're a Christian witch, they're like every fucking week it's something different, and they're associating like Appalachian magic, granny magic with conjure and hoodoo and voodoo. Those are all different.
Very different. Very different.
And so, we're going to talk a little bit about that just because I feel like it's very important for us to understand the distinctions of one's craft and what you're doing, especially with everything. But voodoo and hoodoo are not the same. Appalachian magic and hoodoo, not the same.
Not the same.
Miss Melissa is very passionate about this. I'll let her sort of explain.
Well, especially since right now on my YouTube channel, I'm doing the whole folk magic kind of, that's the journey I'm taking right now myself, and delving deeper into things like cunning folk, hoodoo, and Appalachian folk magic. And one of the first videos I did whenever I started my hoodoo segment was, what is the difference between, or what hoodoo is and isn't, and what's the difference between hoodoo and voodoo. And it irritates the shit out of me that people keep saying it's the same thing, because it's not. Hoodoo is a practice. It has zero to do with religion. Voodoo, especially Haitian voodoo, has to do with a religion. It is a very big religion, and unless you are initiated into that religion by a practicing voodoo priestess or priest, you are not practicing voodoo. I don't care. Those are the rules. It's just like, if you're practicing Gardnerian Wicca, but you have never been initiated by a coven, then you're really not, because that's one of the principles of studying that specific kind of Wicca. So you're not practicing voodoo if you haven't been initiated. And voodoo has to do with specific deities. A lot of them, it's a specific deity. It's their family deity. Where hoodoo is just a practice. You don't have to believe in any kind of deity. A lot of it has to do with Bible. the Abrahamic religion, and they were, or Catholic religion, really more than Abrahamic, and they really work with saints and things like that. So there's a huge difference. And Appalachian magic, mountain folk magic, is not the birthplace of hoodoo. It's a whole nother thing. I mean, the practices are similar, but folk magic, or mountain folk magic rather, most of those people had never even met African people because they were living in the mountains, and they're very, very private. So they got a lot of their stuff because they came from Europe. They came from Scotland, they came from Ireland, they came from England, and they carried their practices with them. But then they really got into Christianity, and most granny magic, if you went up to someone that practiced it, they would not even claim the title witch. They'd be like, I'm a Christian, I don't know what you're talking about. Because it's so heavily steeped in Christianity, and it's just such a crazy mixture of European folk magic and Christianity and Native American magic. So,
Right.
I mean, there's huge differences. And the word conjure has been used in everything. It's not associated with one thing.
Right.
It has been used in everything. It's an old word.
Right.
So, yeah.
Like when you're dealing with like folk magic and such, you're gonna find, obviously, because what folk magic is, you're gonna find common patterns and such in any tradition, because of what folk magic is. It's very common. It's very down to earth and very, very it's not to demean it, but it's very basic. It's very common sense magic. And so when you have an understanding of that, whether it be hoodoo or granny magic, there will be obvious similarities because of the type of energy it is dealing with. Obviously, there will be different filters that will, create that distinction of that magic. So I can see where people get confused, but at the same time, there's no excuse for confusion when we have so much at our disposal to understand.
Right.
The frustrating thing is because we teach everyone. We don't teach this, but we teach everyone. That's cute. So we teach everyone. Sorry, y'all. I was just dealing with
an asshole.
Yeah. We teach everyone that it's okay to intermix every little thing, and as while that can be okay on some level when you have a certain understanding, we also need to teach that we have to understand the distinctions. We have to give that path and that expression, that tradition. It's it's right. It's rightful place. It's rightful honor. So you respect.
Right. Exactly. And yes, Constance, there is a difference between Haitian voodoo and New Orleans style voodoo. And both of those things are different from hoodoo. So yeah, there's definitely a difference, and a lot of it has to do with the religion aspect of Haitian voodoo and New Orleans style voodoo. So and it's really interesting. And if you want to read up on things like that, there's a lot of great books out there to discover and read about. I find it really interesting. To me, practicing the religion of voodoo has never been attractive to me, mainly because I don't feel like I would ever run into a Haitian voodoo priestess or New Orleans style voodoo priestess or priest that I can learn from efficiently, because I don't live in those areas.
See, I would love, to study under someone and be initiated into that, because it fascinates me, and the connection and the interaction. I don't know. I've always wanted to be a part of that flow. But like Melissa expressed too, it's like I I don't really trust many. Like here, I'd have, obviously you'd go elsewhere for that training, and yeah, but it would be very
if the opportunity presented itself and it was a trustworthy source, that's another thing that you really have to watch for. But then, yeah, I would I could see myself doing that. But man, it's just one of those things. I don't see it happening, at least right now, while I'm here in this area.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Okay, so basically, our little bitch fest that got sidetracked for a second was understand what you're talking about, realize that all of these traditions, all of these practices, these religions and such are not the same thing. And so when you add them together, you should really make it a point to express their differences and be respectful of each individual, because when you're disrespecting one path, one tradition, you're disrespecting the people.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah.
And also, don't change your name every 5 minutes, because people won't take you very seriously when you do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Very true. So, yeah, okay. Souring work, souring jars. What the fuck is it? Well, again, if y'all watched 2 weeks ago, we did sweetening work. Sweetening, obviously very common. You're sweetening someone's energy. You're making them see a situation in a lighter way, in a better way. You're making them happy. You're sweetening their disposition, whatever. You're just putting good vibes out, and you're creating that. Oh, I'm a mystic witch. So souring work is the exact opposite. When you sour something, it's like, oh wow, that's a little much. That's like yuck. That's gross. So it's taking sweetening, other aspect, exact opposite, and that's what souring work is. Miss Melissa, what's
up? So I love working with souring jars whenever the need arises. To me, it's a lot easier to sour someone because you're working in, accordance with their nature. If you're souring someone, it's because they're an asshole, So it's easy to sour an asshole. They're already pretty sour,
Pain.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So souring jars are, to me, really effective. They work really well, and they're very easy to do. And just so you know, you will find a lot of things like souring jars in hoodoo. But hoodoo. Anyway, well, you might find them in voodoo too, but for sure hoodoo. Anyway, so what I do is I start with, obviously, I have my person that I'm planning on souring because they've totally pissed me off. They've done something horrible, And so what I do is you can take a petition paper, or I really like, and I should have brought some over here. I really like those little wooden stick figures. They're either a man or a woman.
Yeah.
I really enjoy using those because, and I use those more in souring than I do in sweetening because I want their whole body sour. I want this to affect everything. So anyway, take that, write out their name, any personal concerns. And to me, this is one of those things where it works so much better if you can get some sort of personal concern, like hair, nails, writing, spit, whatever, fork, spoon that they used for lunch, whatever you can get, dirt from their house.
Right.
That would work. Things like that, And really, it would also, too, depend on the reasoning. Like, if this person fucked you out of a job, let's say, said a whole bunch of nasty shit about you and things that weren't true and caused you to lose your job, then personally, I would take, like, dirt from where they work and something of theirs, because I would want that to go back on them to, make them unhappy. They're just, their job to sour, their money to sour, you know, because turnabout is fair play. So those are really good to have for your souring jars. And then I add vinegar. Vinegar is pretty much the key ingredient to souring jars.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, you in a pinch you can use pickle juice. You know, if you don't happen to have any vinegar on hand, because that's basically what pickle juice is vinegar. And so you can use that, but to me, vinegar is the best. And I use like the white distilled vinegar. I don't use apple cider vinegar because apple cider vinegar has a lot of healthy benefits. And to me, that kind of screws with the flow, you know, because I associate apple cider vinegar with health. But that's my own personal
And I actually do
association.
slightly. I use you know, white vinegar, but I'll also use apple cider vinegar because it stinks. Like
Oh, it does stink.
it smells worse than just white distilled vinegar. It is disgusting. Like, and you know, for a while there, I was just like, it's so healthy, like it's good for you. But at the same time, too much of a good thing is not a good thing. So if it has, you know, for me, the way I work it, if it has the ability and the power, the influence to help, it also definitely has the power and the influence to take away. And because when I smell it, like it just grosses me out because it's so potent. I'll usually mix, you know, white distilled vinegar with apple cider vinegar and some other shit. But I will mix,
Right.
you know, both of them because it's just thinking about it kind of grosses me out. Like apple cider vinegar, the stench of it is so potent. Like
It is super
uh,
strong.
and you know, when doing petition papers, you in this day and age, we have the internet, we have
Uh-huh.
screenshots. If you can take a screenshot, if you don't have handwriting or personal concerns or whatever, you can take a screenshot of a stupid conversation because assholes are assholes everywhere, especially on the fucking
Yeah.
internet. So you can see them acting like a fucking douche and print their douchery out, you know, print their responses or something stupid with their picture and utilize that.
Right, exactly. And you know, you can add all kinds of different herbs into it. Um, for me, it just depends on the situation. You know, I want everything to correspond with what I'm doing and exactly how in their life I want it to manifest. Now, a lot of times I will use, like I said, you know, the little wooden popsicle stick figure people, and I would put sigils on there for everything, or even if it's too small to write a lot of sigils, I'll do something like write the money symbol and put a cross over it, like X over it, like no money. Do like a health symbol, no health. You know, if I'm crunched for space, if I'm really pissed off,
And if you're gonna do
you
that, I
know.
would suggest using like write in black and then use your
Right.
X with red.
Yes, yes. See, I would do like, yes, definitely. I would like, if I was doing a money symbol, I'd use like green or gold and then exit over with red. And then health, I'd probably do like, you know, H in blue because everyone, hospital health, you know, and then exit over. Something like that, you know, make sure it correlates. And black pepper, red pepper, really. I love red pepper and stuff like that. Black dog hair. That is a really good thing to use. Gosh, there's so many. You can think of all kinds of things, but I also make sure and add nails, rusty nails or bent pins. You know, I want them to feel the ugh. You know, I want them to just to really fuck them up. And granted, it would depend on how irritating, or you know, or what they did to you know, that would increase the severity. But yeah, and so I'd put that in there, and whenever I have all the herbs that I want in there, whenever I have the petition paper, whatever dirt or personal concerns or pictures of conversations, whatever it is, you know, put it in there, and I would seal it, put a lid on it, shake it. And if it was something that involved more than one person that was pissed at them, I give it to that person to shake. And then I would probably use either like a black candle, maybe a red candle. It really just depends on what I was really wanting to focus on to activate the souring jar to kind of seal it up with the wax and make sure, you know, I would probably add a banishing something in there, because while their life is souring, I don't want that shit around me. You know, I don't want to hear them bitch. I don't want that energy anywhere near me. So I would probably add a little banishing to that as well. And then stick it in a dark corner. And every time I thought about how much that I've been wronged, grab it and shake it up, put all that energy into it, stick it back in a corner. So
I feel like an hour and a half to like fucking watch this motherfucking chat like the entire time because this dude keeps coming back. It's so
how does he keep coming back?
good. So
yes, war water, Pamela, is really good. You can actually make there's actually a recipe for vinegar war water, where you take you know, war water, and basically you just add vinegar to it, and that's really good too.
yeah, and interesting. Okay. Devil's Dung is disgusting,
Yes.
fucking disgusting, gross. Like I actually have, I had a huge thing of asafoetide, or however the fuck you pronounce it. Devil's Dung is so much easier to say, and I had to throw it away. It makes me, oh, it's so gross. It's great in maledictive workings, and great in souring jars. Just a little bit will go a long way. It is so gross. It will overpower. It will definitely help fuel the souring nature, and it will definitely make create like a sickness, like disgusting. Like it will infiltrate the body and the energy of your target, and it will just like fester.
Right, exactly. And there is a difference between vinegar or souring jars and war water.
Yeah.
Souring jars are specifically to sour someone, where war water is basically it causes strife, you know, but it's not, you know, souring and strife can be the same, but they're two different things. Like war water is just basically rusty nails in a jar with water. You know, you don't necessarily add vinegar to it. Like I said, you can add vinegar to it, but it changes it into something else. So, are you serious?
Uh,
Dude is like really, really has no life.
um. Well, yeah, definitely. You can do blessing work, and blessing jars, for sure. I guess we can talk about that a little after we talk about, you know, more souring work. And souring is great to help, you know, wither a situation. If you need to take care of something, and you maybe need, let's say, souring doesn't have to be as intense as you know we initially think. You can actually use a souring work, a temporary, to kind of like take someone's influence away. You can sour them, like, you know, put them in a souring jar to sort of, you know, weaken their energy, to weaken their actions, so you can actually come in and root your position and get farther along. So it's could be a good work for, you know, if you're in business and you're trying to get a promotion and you want to, you know, get rid of your competition. If there's one person that stands out, you can definitely do a souring jar to sort of like kind of deplete their energy and sour their nature, so they're not going to be seen as great. So while you sour their nature, you
Yeah, he's back.
you
He must be so bored, dude. Get a life.
so oh my gosh, sorry y'all. So you do a sweetening jar on yourself, or, you know, you're not yourself, but your employers that are in
I mean, if you're gonna throw insults, please, dear God, come up with something better. That's just sad.
So yeah, sorry y'all. That's yeah. See, and that's what example of why souring work or souring jars and such is so easy, because you have assholes like this. You have people who are entering a space and they don't belong, obviously, and they just want to create something. They want to create, misinformation. They want to create like this and so they're obviously feeling some type of way, insecure, or all kinds of things going on with that. They're already opening themselves up to being hateful and angry and all of that. So that's why souring work is easier to do, because people already think they deserve shit. They act like shit. So yeah. Cool.
What is the deal?
I don't know, but math is bad. Okay. Yeah, math is bad. Math is terrible. Math is terrible, y'all. So yeah, and that's why souring work is easy. Oh my gosh.
I don't even know these people.
Sorry, y'all.
Are we banning the right people?
Oh shit. No.
Oops, Mystic Chrome, we're sorry. That was an accident. We are so sorry.
I'm sorry, y'all. This is like stupid. Can't.
Well, you deal with that, because I can't, and I'll go on. What were we talking about? Where did we leave off?
Souring jars. I'm gonna try to figure out how to
unban people. We're so sorry. Okay. So yeah, souring jars. So people like apparently the crazy folks that have showed up in our chat room today. Yeah, they are already sour. Obviously, they have issues, and it's really easy to work with that kind of nature. There were some questions, and I'm going to try to go back and find them. Yeah, banishing with the sour jar. Yes, definitely. You can add any kind of banishing mixture. Personally, I like really hot banishing mixtures to add to a souring jar, because, kind of add that fire to them while you're making them leave. I always picture it kind of like, I don't know if y'all have fire ants where you live. We have them like crazy here. And fire ants, by the way, are really good to put in a souring jar like this. But dead ones, But yeah, fire ants, and using a fiery kind of banishing powder, that always makes me think of fire ants. Like, they make you move, but they make you move because they just bit you and your whole foot feels like it's on fire. So yeah.
Right, and so I'm still trying to do this shit, but whatever. So you can see why you'd use souring work. Souring jars and such are just to deplete someone of their energy, sour the nature, and handle it like that. Just utilize your imagination. Anything that you could think of that would be great for souring, you could put in that. If you want to sour someone's work, like Melissa said, use imagery. I don't know why this shit's not loading. Imagery and other things that associate with their workplace. If you can actually go and meet their boss, if it's a possibility where you can shake their hands or whatever, do that, and add that energy into your work.
Yeah. I don't understand where these crazy people have come from. It's just insane. That is so unlike most of our shows. We usually have really pleasant people. So, but okay, that's like really giving plenty of energy to all that bullshit. We just need to not.
Yeah, just not. So if you have any, if y'all have any actual questions about soldering work, definitely put them out here. We can move on to. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm trying to figure this shit out. But we can move on to, talking about blessing work. But yeah, again, if you have any questions, put them out there. I can't really see it right now because I'm trying to figure out how to unban Mystic Crown. So Mystic Crown, please don't be too upset with us.
It was a total accident. We swear. Okay, so yeah, we can definitely talk about that. Even that's kind of, yeah, so blessing, you can do a blessing jar. It's kind of in alignment with the sweetening jars that we talked about. Even though sweetening jars are more sweetening someone, to you. You can do a blessing jar. In fact, you can do something like even set up kind of altar where it's just all about the blessings you want to give out. It's always good to give out things. We receive a lot of blessings in our lives, especially, if you are practicing diligently. You get a lot of good things, so to kind of pay it forward, pay it back in a way, you can set up a blessing altar and you can have a jar in the middle and, write down blessings that you want to give to people. It doesn't have to be a specific person, or it can be a specific person, and you just sort of write those down, put them in the jar, and then like on the full moon, you can send those out either by, burning them or burying them. Personally, I would burn them, and then just kind of scatter the ashes out and just let the energy go where it needs to go, where you want it to go. So to me, that would be really interesting and a lot of fun to do, honestly. It's always fun and refreshing, and it makes you feel good to give back. So that is definitely one way you can do it.
Absolutely. Let's see. Okay.
Ghost peppers. Really, that would be any kind of peppers is to add heat to something. Ghost peppers are unbelievably hot, I believe. So, personally, I would use them in anything that I wanted to add fire to. I would be really careful though, because if it was something that I wanted to come to me, then you wouldn't want to use a really potent pepper, because the hotter it is, the quicker it's going to burn out. So you could definitely use those in some kind of malediction work. But again, it might cause the whole spell to really move super fast. So fast it doesn't really do what you want it to do necessarily. It only does it for a very short while. So when it comes to working with peppers, personally, I like black pepper and cayenne pepper because they're hot enough to do what you need to do in that sense, but they also last longer. It's not so hot that it just burns it up super quick. So when it comes to like ghost peppers and habaneros, I really don't mess with those too much. So, but that's just my own personal preference.
Welcome back, Mr. Crone. Again, we apologize. We didn't mean to. We accidentally banned you, taking care of some other stuff, but it was. And this live feed's gonna fucking suck ass because, yeah. Hopefully, y'all can take something from it and all the information that we've provided. And if you have any questions, again, definitely throw them out there. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Tracy, I like black peppercorns too, especially fresh ground, because to me they have a little bit more heat than just like black pepper you buy off the shelf already ground. And I love the way it smells, even though it makes me sneeze continuously. But I love the way peppercorns smell when they're freshly ground. They smell so good. And I don't know, to me they just seem more potent. And it may just be all in my head, but I've always felt like crushing and grinding my own black peppercorns was just a lot fresher and, has a lot more staying power in a way.
Right, and then it's like you're grinding. It's like, oh my, because those things when you're, especially if you're grinding them, not well, the mortar and pestle, some of them fly out. Whoops. It's definitely a fun experience when you're doing that. You poke out an eye. Whoops. Ouch. Oh my gosh, I'm like
rattled because who wants to deal with that crap? And we apologize, guys. Not that it's our fault, but you know what we mean. We apologize for the being rattled. That's like a new thing for us, for sure.
Then when you're targeting someone as well, if you know something that they're allergic to, you could use that essence and put it in your soldering jar.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure.
And blessing work is obviously jars, are containers for a lot of things, and you can use them for basically whatever you want to do. Blessing work is wonderful with a jar. You can use moon water with a little bit of vodka, Florida water. Then you can use different pigments. If you want to add actual food coloring, you can do that. You can do different pigments. You can actually do glitter because fuck, why not? It's fun. And then you can add a little bit of sweetener. You can add a little bit of sugar to it and dissolve it, almost like you're making fucking Kool-Aid, y'all. And then you can add different coins. Like if let's say you want to do a blessing jar, and that week you're like, I'm going to do it on this day. So before that, I am programming this. So I'm telling the universe that, okay, I want this good shit to happen. I want to have items and ingredients that are meant for blessing to be put in my path. So if you're walking around, you see 25 cents or a penny, grab it, then boom, put it in your blessing jar, and then you're able to fill it with different essential oils and different things depending on what you want to achieve with blessing.
Right, exactly. So we have a lot of questions about souring jars. So I was gonna just grab a couple of these questions real quick. Okay, you can use broken mirrors if you want to, and make them, because mirror work, especially in malediction, is mainly to make people see what they've done, like feel and understand what they've done to cause this curse to happen. So at least that's mainly what I use them for in malediction. So you can definitely do that. Personally, I mean, if you really think it's important that they see what they've done, maybe they can learn from it, then definitely. But for me, I don't really mess with the broken mirrors necessarily. It's not something that, because most of the time people, at least in my experience, they just always do shit like that. Nothing's going to help them, and they have to figure it out on themselves. Even if they look at what they've done, they probably won't see how it was necessarily a bad thing. So, that's the way it is. And sulfur, yes, you can use sulfur. God, I use it, but I hate using it. That shit stinks so bad.
It doesn't smell, worse than the devil's dung, though.
That's true. That is so true.
Oh.
So, I thought I already answered the ghost pepper question. So
yeah, she did. She talked about ghost peppers and what they could be used for. Just basically, and this is for anything that you want to do. You take its mundane, application, and then you add your spiritual nature to it. So if something's really, really hot, and it's hotter than most things, obviously that's going to mean you can use that to really burn shit through. You can use it to really fuel something to speed it up. You can use it to cause pain, because when our mouths are burning, it hurts. So you take that and then you apply it to your craft and how you can filter it through that shit. I can't even talk.
Right. So yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things you can add. Sulfur is good. You can add sulfur. Ugh. That rotten egg smell is horrible. And you're right, it's not as bad as devil's dung, but oh my gosh, I don't know. For some reason, to me, it seems like sulfur sticks in the air longer.
I can. Yeah, well, if you burn it, I mean, you're not supposed to burn it. If you do burn it outside, open, very open
Right.
area. But
Yes. Very open.
I was working with Devil's Dung for quite a while. Like, it just infiltrated. I had it like triple bagged. It was sealed, and even that, it just infiltrated everything. And so that's why I'm like, I have that in my head. I'm like, oh no. Much uh, I'd much rather work with sulfur. But yeah, so tequila for blessing spells. Sure, why not? You could.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, alcohol sort of, opens the way. It helps to kind of like let loose a little, and then you're more apt to have emotion or feel certain things and be open to certain experiences. So yeah, definitely tequila you can use for blessings. Absolutely.
Right. For sure, for sure. But yeah, any kind of alcohol, really, tequila, and also, tequila is made out of agave, right? Agave, I believe. And there's really a lot of healing associations with agave. So, as much as too much tequila cannot be very, healing, but, a small amount of tequila is actually pretty good for you. So you can add that to blessing spells and give it a little fire, release inhibitions and open people to receive.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Plus,
who doesn't like a good shot of tequila every once in a while? I mean, come on.
Exactly. I mean, wouldn't that be fun? Like, you go to your blessing jar and like, okay, the routine is take a shot of tequila and shake that jar and call it good. And you could definitely take a shot of tequila, turn on some music, and channel that flow, channel that energy, that creativity, and that inspiration. And as you're letting go, and you can use that energy to put into your blessing jar, your blessing word. So that's fun. Yeah, so if there's any other questions that y'all might have, definitely throw them out here, as long as it's in alignment with our topic of witchcraft and not aligned with douchery. So
exactly. Oh, me. But yeah, we can talk a little bit if you want about some tarot cards you can use whenever it comes to like souring. To me, the Eight of Swords is a really good card to use with souring jars, mainly because it's basically, you're kind of bound and you don't know where you're going, and it's confusion you caused yourself. So whenever it comes to like using that to give life to a souring jar, you want them to know, hey, you caused this. This is your thing. This is what you did. You were the asshole. And, it adds to the whole souring effect of being, confused and not really knowing which way to go or what's going on. Only knowing that, hey, I put myself in this shitty situation. It's my own fault. But that's a fun card to use. A lot of the swords cards are.
Empowering work.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Most of them are pretty. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, you can use reverse cups, because normally, upright cups are upright, obviously, so they're contained shit. If you reverse the cups,
right,
then their shit in their cup is dropping out. Can't contain anything. So definitely reverse cups would be really good for.
I'm sorry. I totally thought you'd stop for some reason. Oh shit. Justice is a good one. You're seeking justice, make sure that, when you're doing this though, that they actually are in the wrong and you're not just being like overly sensitive, because we've all had those moments. You know, we're human. But justice is a really good card to use. You know, you want them to get justice. You know, and sometimes the only way they're going to get any kind of justice is if we hand it out, because especially if they don't do anything that's necessarily illegal but has put you in a horrible position, you know, to where you really don't have any other recourse but to, you know, act. So justice is a really good one to use. I'm trying to find some more here.
Well, the Three of Cups is good to use. You can actually use that upright or reverse. Upright, depending on what card you cover it with or what you channel, it could be you're allowing them to think that they're happy when they're not. Reverse, it's like all of their friendships, their kinship, their closeness with other people, other relationships is not what it seems. It's not really happy. It's just you're there. You're feeding off each other in a very negative way.
Right, right. And of course, Ten of Swords, that one's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
You know, everybody thinks so. The worst card in tarot is the Ten of Swords, pretty much for everyone. I almost pulled that one earlier.
Yeah. The moon's good. Depression, over emotions, you know, abundant emotions, this craziness. Yeah.
Sure.
Did you say the Five of Cups?
Huh?
Did you say the Five of Cups?
No, I haven't said that one yet. That's a good one.
Five of Cups, really good to work with as well. Kind of sad. Kind of walking away, kind of like defeated, you know. It's really good. And it's a good thing, like when you do your soldering jars or anything that you do, you can start it and then follow through with like the imagery of the deck like a few days later to help it process its energy. And especially more so for the witch too, like to get in that mindset, like, okay, this is what's going to happen. You cast your spell and now you're taking it a step further and you're using the imagery of the deck to help kind of like help you to get into that same space.
Right. Five of Coins. Fives are really good, apparently, in sour. Most of them are, honestly. But, you know, Five of Coins, a lot of this has to do with not only despair and desperation, but also ill health and you know, misery in general. You know, they're just kind of defeated, even though they're right there where they can get help. It's just like, forget it. I'm done. I'm defeated. I can't go on. So the Five of Coins is really good to use in that, because that's your goal. You know, you want them defeated. You want them done. Even if help is just right there. You know, nope, you're not going to make it because you fucked me over and now I'm going to get you. You know?
Right.
So.
Absolutely. So there's a different ideas, y'all. Different ideas you can utilize and take with you and perfect. And if y'all watching this show, and don't judge us by this show, because obviously they're normally a lot better than what we have presented tonight, because we were distracted, obviously, but we still, yeah. So we apologize for that shit. That's
for sure
a lot. Oh well. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask questions before we close out. Yeah, so we'll definitely wait a few minutes, and if you have any questions about anything that we've expressed, or if you have anything you want to talk about in regards to witchcraft, feel free to, you know, express yourself, and we can have a discussion. If not, we're gonna go, but we'll just wait a little longer. And definitely check out our you know, sweetening jar video and other videos that we've done. And you know, if you want to know how to work tarot and magic, check out I think we have a playlist, Tarot and the Deviants. Definitely check that out, because why not? Duh. As well, you know, check out, Melissa's been doing a lot of like blog posting lately, and she has a lot of new stuff in her store. So, Night Song, we actually covered Ghost Pepper correspondences more than once. So, if you want to like rewind, definitely feel free to do so.
Yeah,
And
fire would be the big one.
fire.
Fire. I mean, fire
Hot.
element. Yeah, you can use tarot. I mean, you're charging it with that energy. So, I mean, you can use any deck. I don't have a specific deck for like malediction work, and if you feel you need to cleanse them afterwards, you totally can. Personally, to me, it's not so much that those cards are being influenced by that work. I'm influencing that work by those cards. So the transfer of power isn't from the work to the cards; it's from the cards to the work.
Right.
And I'm taking what those cards already mean,
Right. It actually would benefit your deck, really. Your understanding and your connection to your deck if you use your cards in spell work. And I wouldn't change them. I wouldn't clear them. I would do anything with them. I would just use them because you're, basically really comprehending and driving through into your memory what each card means for you. Okay, then.
Right. What animal part or insect would you use for souring? I don't really use insects or animal parts just for like a specific souring thing. Now I would use some in malediction work for specific reasons, but I really can't think of something.
Well, maybe the entire fly, like you find dead flies.
Yeah.
Flies are attracted to shit, and dead things. So decaying, all that shit. So flies and gnats.
Yeah. Those little gnats that like to hover around like fruit whenever it goes bad.
Yeah.
Whatever those are called. I'm not going to tell you the names they have in the country for them. None of them are nice. But those for that, I could see using that, especially since they're attracted to that kind of thing. Possibly even like, we don't, I don't even, like beetles. Beetles are attracted to like sour or rotting things. So any kind of bug like that that's attracted to things that are rotten, yeah, those would probably be great for sure.
Oh, maggots. Ew. Bees would be interesting. I wouldn't kill a bee, but I find dead bees and wasps. I would probably use a wasp. I find that shit, dead ever so often, so you can collect them. I collect them if they're, there. Why not? So again, it really just depends on the severity of your souring jar, and y'all look like you're making some severe shit over here. So, but it just depends on what you're trying to achieve. Yeah, so we might do like a blog post and collect our thoughts a little better and express them, and then tie this video in. I honestly, CC, I don't want to talk about Kundalini awakening right now, just because I'm not even in the mind space to have that conversation. But maybe on a different show for sure.
Right.
But yeah, so again, y'all, I think I'm just ready to go. So it's time to close this out. So definitely appreciate everyone being a part of this weird experience tonight. And again, if you want us to talk about anything specific, if you have anything that you'd like to discuss with us, feel free to comment on the video and let us know anything that you'd like to talk about. We are definitely open to your suggestions.
For sure. Definitely. Oh, and I might do a blog post to do some more specifics later, since like show's been kind of like crazy. So if so, I'll definitely attach the link into like either in the comments or in the down bar or something. So for sure. Thanks, guys. Sorry about the assholes.
Peace.